Time to fuck shit up.
Defend your family, state, and country. Vote against every Democrat.
Some people ask whether you are fit for the job. And when you hear that, I wonder what you think. Watch me. Watch me. If you think I don't have the energy level or the mental acuity, then you know, that's one thing. It's another thing of just watching and you know, keep my schedule. What did I say? You know, I mean, it's a matter of, you know, that old expression, the proof of the pudding's in the eating. I mean, I respect the fact that people would say, you know, you're old. Yeah. I think it's a legitimate thing to be concerned about anyone's age, including mine. I think that's totally legitimate. But I think the best way to make the judgment is to watch me. You know, am I slowing up? Am I don't have the same pace? Watch me. That means not a joke, everybody. That's why we were defeated in 2018 when they tried to do it. We went to 54 states. Watch me. Let me start off with two words. Made in America. We go back a long way. Watch me. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway. And FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Assistance, Federal Emergency Management Assistance.
So what's your message to Democrats who like you, who like what you've done, but are concerned about your age and the demands of the job?
Well, they're concerned about whether or not I can get anything done. Look what I've gotten done. If I'm elected president, we're going to cure cancer. And it's just one lie after another. Lying, 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 one after another. Look what I've gotten done. Name me a president in recent history that's gotten as much done as I have in the first 2 years. And guess what?
I would say that Joe Biden is gaslighting, but I'm not sure anyone can afford gas anymore. If you look,
watch me.
You look at the last 2 years, I cannot think of a period in American history where one administration has done more damage to the United States than Joe Biden in the last 2 years.
Oh, look what I've gotten done.
Everything they have touched has gone to garbage.
Name me a president in recent history that's gotten as much done as I have in the first 2 years. And guess what?
You look at the stagflation we have. We've got record inflation, the highest inflation in 40 years.
Not a joke. You may not like what I got done.
We're in a recession, so what do? They define recession so it no longer means 2 consecutive quarters of economic contraction.
And guess what?
Mortgages have tripled. The interest rates on mortgages have tripled under Joe Biden in just 2 years.
Watch me.
Biden forced Americans out of jobs, transferred money from working families to Harvard lawyers, and sent our country into a recession. While families can't afford gas or groceries, Democrats don't care about suffering Americans. They never did.
Name me a president in recent history that's gotten as much done as I have in the first 2 years.
This is the man Democrats and the press are comfortable subjecting you and your family to. Oh, wait, there's more.
You know how much it costs to make that insulin drug for diabetes? Cost. It was invented by a man who did not patent it because he wanted it available for everyone. I spoke to him.
The man who discovered insulin, Dr. Frederick Banting, died 1 year before Joe Biden was born.
I spoke to him, okay?
But to CNN, what's a little lie or a whole smattering of them if it keeps Democrats in power, right, and harming America?
Inflation is a worldwide problem right now because of a war in Iraq and the impact on oil and what Russia's doing. The war in Ukraine. And thinking of Iraq because that's where my son died.
Beau Biden did not die in Iraq. He died tragically from brain cancer.
Lying, lying, lying. And guess what?
If I ask if Joe Biden is either off his rocker or off his meds, I get labeled as hateful or violent.
You see, they've been lying to you about elections for years. And when we catch them in the lie, we're called liars or conspiracy theorists for pointing out their lies.
But despite the fiction being pushed by left-wing media, opposing left-wingers is not a hateful action. Opposing harm to my country isn't a violent action. But if Democrat politicians repeat a lie long enough, Chances are CNN and others like them will eventually call it fact. So keep it up, Joe. The left-wing press is with you as you undertake your jihad on the facts and our people.
You know, American democracy is under attack because the defeated former president of the United States refuses to accept the results of the 2020 election.
Donald Trump is now just 48 hours away from truly running the country.
But just 2 days before taking office, Trump is taking aim at Democrats. This morning, the list of Democratic lawmakers boycotting Friday's inauguration is growing. More than 50 now saying they won't attend.
There's some of us who will be working to try to resist the agenda that President-elect Trump put forth.
He refuses to accept the will of the people. He refuses to accept the fact that he lost.
Right now, a number of members of Congress are planning to boycott the election.
I don't honor him, I don't respect him, and I don't want to be involved with it.
Most of those congresspeople are from California. So far, 13 members of Congress from California are boycotting the ceremony.
To suppress the right of voters and subvert the electoral system itself.
Officials are also expecting tens of thousands of anti-Trump protesters. At least one group vowing to shut down the inauguration ceremonies and paralyze the city.
We're very optimistic about our chances of having a very vibrant show of resistance on Friday.
The defeated former president of the United States refuses to accept the results of the 2020 election.
Now, dozens of groups are organizing rallies around the National Mall and near the parade route.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president who got illegitimate foreign help. He knows he's an illegitimate president.
Because democracy is in the ballot, we have to remember that even in our darkest moments, there are fundamental values and beliefs that unite us as Americans. And they must unite us now.
He knows he's an illegitimate president. I do think that he knows he's an illegitimate president.
Oh, here we go. Fact checkers, they got their pens out now. I can see them salivating now. They're definitely saying that's a conspiracy theory. That's definitely not happening. Oh, okay.
We believe the vote in America is sacred, to be honored, not denied.
You can run the best campaign, and you can have the election stolen from you.
The defeated former president of the United States refuses to accept the results of the 2020 election.
10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified.
I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin, which should not be legally certified.
No debate.
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia on the grounds that the electoral votes were not.
No debate.
If conservatives even suggested there was some big conspiracy between big business and big tech, we'd be called nuts and conspiracy theorists. You see how all this works? They do it. They brag about it. We call it out. They out their own lie. And then we're the conspiracy theorists. You got that? If you've got it and that makes sense to you, you're probably crazy because it doesn't make sense to sane people.
The extreme MAGA element of the Republican Party is trying to succeed where they failed in 2020.
I want to readdress this article about what the Democrats pulled off in 2020, okay? This is super important. The article's from Time, and it's basically a confession, like a reconciliation for the Democrats. In early 2021, this was written about what they did in 2020. Again, this is Time and their words. It ain't my words. Quote, there was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protests and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. Did you catch the admission that this was a conspiracy? Again, listen, their words, not my words. I'm just reading to you their actual words.
We can't allow this sentiment to grow. We must confront it head on now.
This is from the New York Times, baby, in 2012. Votes cast by mail are less likely to be counted, more likely to be compromised, and more likely to be contested than those cast in a voting booth. Bet they'd like to make that one go away. Election officials reject almost 2% of ballots cast by mail, double the rate for in-person voting. Oh my, wow, what conspiracy theories at the New York Times. How about that? How about that little quote-a-rooski?
Watch me.
I just showed you the New York Times and Time Magazine. That's not Bongino.com and FoxNews.com.
Contrary to their beliefs, Democrats are not entitled to rule The American people still have something to say about it. All Americans are entitled to be safe in their cities, states, and country, not just Nancy Pelosi's family. It is my sincerest hope that you and millions of Americans head to the polls and vote to keep America, America by voting against the anti-American party, the Democrats.
If they think I do and I can do it, then that's fine. If they don't, then they should vote against me.
I like open gun laws. I like drunken bar brawls. I like drinking Budweiser. I like smoking Marlboro. We monstered up in them monster trucks, rolling in heavy machinery. We all believe in protecting what's ours. If you fuck with us, we got that heavy machinery. Drink beers in a lawn chair. Nothing much going on here. Probably get a few long stares. Look, you don't belong here. Hey, please don't get mad at me. I did not put up the barrier.